Welcome, crypto fam, to No One Daily Bitcoin Pod. Bitcoin pumping back in the green. We recaptured 88,000, up over 3,000 on the day. And Arthur Hayes is calling for 110,000 in play. We'll also be discussing the Bitcoin ETFs logged their first net inflows in weeks, while the Ether outflows continue, as well as breaking news. Metaplanet buys 12.6 million in Bitcoin, boosting their holdings to 3,350. Their goal by the end of the year is 10,000 BTC, and by the end of 2026 they aim to have 21,000 BTC. Also, MicroStrategy surpasses 500,000 Bitcoin with their latest purchase of 6,911 BTC. Also, tokenized US gold could ultimately benefit Bitcoin, according to the NYDIG. We'll also be discussing gold-backed stablecoins will outcompete US dollar stablecoins, according to the high priest of Bitcoin, Max Keiser. He also says, breaking, the IMF just recognized Bitcoin as de facto digital gold. Sources confirm the IMF is adding Bitcoin to their own reserves and will soon include Bitcoin in their SDR basket index as well. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. Gong, 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 gong. This gong strike is for each and every one of you. Let's send pretty little bitty where it belongs, back in price discovery. Price discovery in play. 1093. Send it. The NIP has his sats in the barn and is so chill. Precisely. If you're new to the channel, important, smash the likes, go ahead, subscribe, then ring the bell. Turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto newsletters every single day, 7 days a week. Just like this. Today is pod episode 1943. I'm your host, JV. It's March 24th, 2025. Bitcoins are ripping like the new Scottie Pippen. We're up over 33 hundo on the day. We had a nice close for the week above 85, which was the line in the sand, and currently at about 88.5 at the time of the live stream. Let's kick it off with our market watch, as we do each and every day. Everything is in the green, as you can see on your screen. We have Ethereum even up 3.5%, trading above 2,000. Solana up 8%, BNB in the green, XRP in the green, virtually everything in the green. And checking out CoinMarketCap.com. The current crypto market cap is back on a rise, about time, sitting at 2.88 trillion. We got to get back above that 3 trillion milestone. The Bitcoin market cap back on a rise as well, sitting at 1.755 trillion. And we have roughly, it looked like 67 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance 60.7%. Ether dominance 8.7%. Top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours. We got 4 leading the pack, up 24.24%. SPX up 21%. And Berachain up 17.5%. Which alts, if any, are you bullish on for the bull? Holla at your boy. And checking out the crypto bubbles. We get a visual perspective on the day. Virtually everything in the green. We love to see this. 90% of the market, fair to say. About time. Zooming out on the monthly, get a broader perspective. You can see still overall, many of these alts completely wrecked over the past 30 days. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index. Today we're 45 in fear. Yesterday 30. Last week a 32, and last month a 49. Neutral. And checking out the time chain calendar, we have 160,753 blocks into the next halving of 2028, and we're currently on block number 889,247. And you can currently exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 1,130 sats. So pick up the sats, put down the gats, pick up some Bitcoin caps from my man Sergio, of course, over at bitcoincaps.net. But yeah, very bullish news in the market with the weekly close, which we love to see. Even Arthur Hayes is saying we're more likely to hit 110,000, which means price discovery all-time high. That's a blackjack, baby. Before hitting 76.5, so the bottom would be in already if that is true. Let me know if you agree or disagree with Arthur Hayes. Just blaze. So yeah, if we reach a new all-time high of 110 before any significant retracement, according to many of the analysts, including Just Blaze, Bitcoin has been rising for 2 consecutive weeks, achieving a bullish weekly close above 86. It was actually just above 85, maybe 85.4-ish, and today we're already 88, up over 3,000 on the day. Combined with the fading inflation-related concerns, this may set the stage for the Bitcoin rally to 110, a new all-time high. Send it. And according to Arthur Hayes, the BitMEX co-founder, and as you can see, here's the weekly chart. I'll be pulling up the live charts here shortly after the TA. I bet Bitcoin hits 110 before it retests 76. Why? The Fed is going from QT to QE for treasuries, and the tariffs don't matter because of transition inflation. J. Powell told me so, and if you don't know, now you know. And what I mean is that the price is more likely to hit 110 than 76, but if we hit 110, then it's Yahtzee, mofos, and we ain't looking back until 250. Send it. Let her rip, Tater Chip. Quantitative tightening is when the U.S. Fed shrinks the balance sheet by selling bonds or letting them mature without reinvesting the proceeds, while QE means that the Fed is buying the bonds and pumping the money into the economy to lower the interest rates and encourage spending during the difficult financial conditions. Other analysts pointed out that while the Fed has slowed the QT, it has not yet fully pivoted all the easing. As shared here by Benjamin Cohen, QT is not basically over on April 1st. They still have $35 billion a month coming off the mortgage-backed securities. They just slowed QT from $60 billion a month to $40 billion. Meanwhile, market participants await the Fed's expected pivot to QE, which has historically been positive for the pre-low biddy price. The last period of the QE in 2020 led to a more than 1,000% surge of the biddy price from around 6,000 in March of 2020 to reaching an all-time high record in November of 2021 of 69,000. So within a one-year span, Bitcoin 10x. If we were to repeat that 10x, Bitcoin would soar past, what is that, 880,000 per coin. Are you guys bullish enough? Meanwhile, Bitcoin's recovery to above 85,000 after last week's Fed Open Market Committee, we know as the FOMC meeting, was a bullish sign for the investor sentiment that may signal more upside. We shall soon find out. Quoting analysts here, global liquidity has risen. Discussions around the U.S. Bitcoin Strategic Reserve potentially driving the biddy towards 110. Marx's Bitcoin liquidity available in exchanges keeps dropping, leading to a supply squeeze scenario. And there you have it, yo. And yeah, let's also pull up some of the live charts and see how we're looking. Hopefully everything is ready to rip, and we can keep ripping like the new Scottie Pippen. And again, welcome everyone joining the live stream. You should be able to see the live chart right here via TradingView, via Coinbase. This is the 1 hour. As you can see, we've been ascending, which is nice, all day here. Zooming out from the 1 hour, we take a look at a 4 hour chart. And also, as you can see, there's a rising wedge, which is a good sign. We have two bull targets, one in the red at 105.5 and one in the green at 113.7, which would take us back to price discovery new all-time highs. There's also a bear target on the screen sitting at 77.4. Let me know what's more likely in your opinion, 110 or 77. Holla. And zooming out from the 4 hour, take a quick look at a daily chart. And as you can see here, we're printing a nice green candle on the day. Yesterday was a nice green candle. And we do have a couple of targets here. We do have a rising wedge followed by a falling wedge, two of the bull targets, one sitting at 113 and one just north of that at 113.7. And a couple of the bear targets, we're looking at 68.6 as well as 49 G's, baby. And zooming out from the daily, take a look at a weekly. And the weekly chart, you can see, I mean, we finally got a nice green close for the past few weeks, but prior to that, we had a mega bearish candle close, but we've been recovering, but we still have some recovering to do, get back above 100 G's. And zooming out from there, we take a look at a monthly. And also on the weekly, I forgot to point out, but there's still the sexy 124 cup and handle target, which can occur. Max is calling for a new all-time high this month before April to put a bow on Q1. And happy 420 for the broskies. It's 420 right here in Puerto Rico. That's a celebratory time. And as you can see on the monthly, unfortunately, last month we closed. February was very bearish. You can see the big red candle. January was bullish. December, we closed in the red, but barely. And November was the most bullish green candle close we have witnessed thus far since the inception of the Genesis block. And if you don't know, now you know. Next story of the day. Let's discuss the Bitcoin ETFs. The outflows have finally ceased, which is a good sign. Spot Bitcoin ETFs in the U.S. snapped a 5-week net outflow streak in the trading week ending March 21st. Bitcoin ETFs clocked a net inflow of 744.4 milli, the biggest tally in the past 8 weeks, extending their daily inflow streak to 6 consecutive days, according to data from Value. Now, 5 funds contributed to the inflows, with the bulk coming from BlackRock's Audit, which recorded 537.5 million. Fidelity's Fundwise Bitcoin Origin Fund, which is FBTC, and followed by 136.5 million. The renewed inflows come after the bearish period for both the crypto market and the broader global economy, marked by growing concerns over the escalating trade tensions and rising recession concerns. Earlier in the year, the Bitcoin ETFs recorded their largest net inflows of 2025, close to $2 billion in the week ending January 17th, and $1.7 billion the following week. Bitcoin surged to an all-time high of 109.3 on Inauguration Day, Jan 20th, the morning before the president was sworn in, and Bitcoin later dropped to the 78 range, and I believe the current bottom is like 76.7, and around that perspective. With the latest inflows, the strongest since January, the price rebounded. As you know, today we're back above 88,500 at the time of the live stream. Bitcoin up 33 hundo on the day. However, Bitcoin's leaving Ethereum in the dust. That's right. The same can't be said for Ether ETFs, which extended their weekly net outflow streak to 4 weeks. It's been all downhill since they switched their protocol from proof of work to proof of stake. During the week ending March 21st, Ethereum's funds saw net outflow of 103 million, while iShares Ethereum Trust accounted for 74 million worth of that. Ethereum has been struggling at around 2,000, which is currently where the current price action is. And there was a bright spot for Ethereum as institutions continue to deepen their exposure to the asset. BlackRock's Build Fund, which primarily invests in tokenized real-world assets, now holds a record 1.15 billion worth of Ether, up from 990 million the week earlier. And the fresh injection of ETH signals a growth conviction from the world's largest asset manager, and Ethereum's role as the leading infrastructure for the real asset tokenization. Next story of the day. We discussed the ETFs, right? Now let's discuss Metaplanet. Check this out. Headline reads, Metaplanet buys 12.6 million in Bitcoin, boosting their holdings by 3,350 BTC. So they just purchased virtually half the amount of Bitcoin that El Salvador has. And shout out Isabella. I know she was just at the event yesterday. She wrote Metaplanet just bought 150 biddies. They now have 3,350 biddies. Their year goal is 10,000 biddies. By 2026, they're aiming to have 21,000 biddies. That's a blackjack, baby. They will officially own 1% of all the Bitcoin that will ever exist. Game on. This is virtually the Japanese version of MicroStrategy, and they have Michael Saylor's full support as well. Michael Saylor sent them a video showing their full support. Let me know if you guys saw it. And Isabella did a little tour of the room. Look at that. Jam-packed session. There was literally no seats. So game on, family. Now let's break down this story for you guys. So yeah, Metaplanet increased their Bitcoin holdings, 3,350 Bitcoin, after adding an additional 150 Bitcoin. Oh, my apologies. They didn't just purchase 33. That's their grand total right now. They just purchased 150. The firm has been accelerating its acquisitions throughout the year, adding 1,288 BTC the first 11 weeks already for the year. And again, their goal by the end of the year is 10,000 of the biddy. And according to the March 24th statement, the Japanese investment firm purchased the Bitcoin at an average price of 83 Gs each. This bringing the company's total Bitcoin acquisition cost $278 million, with an average purchase price of 83 Gs. I love the number 83 because 8 plus 3, that's an 11. And JV was born in 1983. But hey, Metaplanet tracks its performance using the biddy yield, a metric that measures the growth of the Bitcoin holdings relative to its fully diluted shares. After surging 309% in the fourth quarter of 2024, the metric reached 68.3% thus far in the first quarter of this year. The outfit has financed its purchases through the stock acquisitions right via the Evo fund and the zero interest bonds. In March alone, it redeemed 2 billion Japanese yen, which is 12.8 million USD, in bonds ahead of schedule, issued another 2 billion of yen for their new bonds. This was used to fund multiple purchases, including 156 BTC March 3rd, 497 BTC on March 5th, and 162 BTC on March 12th, and 150 BTC March 18th. The goal is to reach 10,000 of the biddy by the end of the year and 21,000 for a blackjack by 2026, a milestone that would make it the holder of 1% of the total Bitcoin supply. Now, reacting to the latest development, Google Finance showed Metaplanet stock is trading at 5,060 Japanese yen, recording a 7% increase for the past 24 hours since the event. The company also recently achieved a milestone, becoming Asia's largest publicly listed Bitcoin holder and ranking amongst the top 10 publicly listed Bitcoin holders in the world. Last week, it announced the formation of an advisory board, appointing Eric Trump, smart move by the way, as its first member. Shout out Eric Trump. While it did not disclose specific details about the Trump role, CEO Simon stated that the board consists of influential figures committed to advancing the Bitcoin adoption. You really want to blow up your company? Put the Nipinator on the board. For real, for real. He described Trump's appointment as a major step towards the goal of becoming the world's leading Bitcoin treasury company. The investment firm's growth coincides with Japan's shifting stance on the crypto regulation. March 6th, the country's Liberal Democratic Party proposed lowering crypto capital gains tax from 55% to 20%. Good Lord, 55% is pretty wild. Now, where we live in Puerto Rico, it's 15% capital gains tax. But if you have your Act 60, then you can virtually get away with 0% capital gains tax. Marking a 35% reduction, the plan is to seek to classify the crypto as an asset class separate from securities under the Financial Instruments in the Exchange Act. And if you don't know, now you know. Next story of the day, Michael Saylor just made the announcement. I called it. He posted the Saylor tracker yesterday, and every week like clockwork, he posts that on Sunday and makes the announcement on a Monday. Michael Saylor Strategies surpassed 500,000 of the biddy with their latest purchase. As I announced here, just copy pasting it from Michael Saylor. MicroStrategy acquired 6,911 Bitcoin for $584 million at 84,500 per biddy and has achieved a Bitcoin yield of 7.7% year to date 2025. As of March 23rd, 2025, Strategy holds 506,000 of the biddy acquired for $33.7 billion at 66,000 per Bitcoin. Give it up for the Giga Chad. That's right. Michael Saylor acquired over 500 million worth of Bitcoin like it ain't no thing, as the institutional interest in the ETF flows make the comeback. Don't call it a comeback. Bitcoin's been here for years, peer to peer, leaving suckers in fear. Strategy acquires 6,911 of the biddy for over 584 million between March 17th and the 23rd at an average price of 84.5. So they're already back in the green on their latest purchase, and this is according to their filing with the SEC. Now, following the latest acquisition, the company now holds more than 500,000 Bitcoin, with a total of 506,137 Bitcoin acquired at an aggregate purchase price of $33.7 billion and an average purchase price of approximately $666 per Bitcoin. Too many sixes for my liking, inclusive of the fees and the expenses. The milestone comes a day after Strategy co-founder Mikey Saylor hinted at the impending Bitcoin investment after the company announced the price of his latest transfer, the preferred stock, on March 21st. Again, anytime you see the Saylor tracker, expect a massive buy. The preferred stock was sold at $85 per share and featured a 10% coupon. And according to Strategy, the offering would bring the company approximately $711 million in revenue, scheduled to settle on March 25th, which is tomorrow. Now, Strategy is the world's largest corporate Bitcoin holder and the first publicly traded company to put a biddy on the balance sheet back when it was MicroStrategy. Obviously, they just rebranded to Strategy B, and we all know that. Strategy's latest investment comes amid the global trade war fears, which analysts say can weigh on both the traditional and the digital asset markets at least through the early April. Despite the multitude of the positive crypto-specific developments, the global tariff fears will continue to pressure the market until at least April 6th, according to Nikolai, research analyst over at Nansen. Quoting him here, I am looking forward to seeing what happens with the tariffs from April 2nd and onwards. Maybe we'll see some of them dropped, but it depends on the countries if they can agree. That's the biggest driver at the moment. And risk assets may lack direction until the tariff-related concerns are resolved, which may happen April 2nd and July, presenting a positive market catalyst. U.S. President Trump's reciprocal tariff rates are set to take effect April 2nd, despite earlier comments from the Treasury Secretary indicating a possible delay in their implementation. And if you don't know, now you know. Now, Max Keiser says MicroStrategy will own 1 million BTC soon enough. And that's a fact, Jack. And if you don't know, Michael Saylor recently announced that they were raising $21 billion to buy Bitcoin. And if that's not a blackjack, I don't know what is. Pretty little bitty going up. Let's continue with our next story of the day. We discussed the latest from the Giga Chad. Now let's discuss our next headline. Tokenized U.S. gold could ultimately benefit the pretty little bitty. That's right. An idea to tokenize or track the U.S. gold reserves to make their movements transparent on the blockchain won't work the same in a trustless way as the Bitcoin does, but doing so can help the crypto, according to some analysts. Greg Cipollaro, global head of research over at the New York Digital Investment Group, we referred to as the NYDIG, shared that Trump administration officials, including Elon, have floated using a blockchain to track the U.S. gold and government spending, hold them accountable. Let's start with auditing Fort Knox. Let's audit the Fed. Let's audit the IRS. Let's audit the auditors. How's that sound? Quoting him here. Here's the thing about the blockchains. They're not very smart. They're limited in the information they convey. For example, Bitcoin has no idea what the price of Bitcoin is or even the current time. He said the tokenization of the tracking of the gold reserves on the blockchain could help the audits and transparency, but would still rely on trust and coordination with central entities. That's the flaw. Compared to Bitcoin, which was designed to explicitly remove the centralized entities, because the centralized entities thrown us overboard decades ago. We don't trust them. They not like us. We not like them. Now, he also added that the tokenization and the blockchain tracking ideas aren't competitive with the crypto market. It might help to increase the awareness of it. It comes amid the calls from some of the independent audits of the United States gold reserves. Let me know if you think the gold is actually there at Fort Knox, family. My suspicions are telling me they're somehow bringing the gold back there, which has probably been missing for 50 years before they audit it. But that's just my assumption. Let me know your two Satoshis. Republican Senator Rand Paul last month seemingly called on Musk's federal cut-costing project to investigate the U.S. government's gold stash at the bullion depository of Fort Knox, which the U.S. Mint says holds around half the country's gold. Yeah, if it's there. The Treasury audits and publishes reports on gold holdings at Fort Knox and other locations across the U.S. every month, but President Trump and Musk have both parroted decade-old conspiracy theories about the gold in question, whether it's still there. As Elon shared here on February 18th, this gold is the property of the American people. I sure hope it is still there. Yeah, I'm kind of doubtful as well, obviously. They both have pushed for the independent audit of Fort Knox. I think, though, they should have audited it without, bringing it to, global attention, because I feel like they're just stalling now. And like I said, they can just have planes shipping the gold. And it may take a very long time, but maybe before they do the audit, they put the gold back. I say we should have did it when they least expected it and thought they were safe. Slap. You know what I mean? The vaults were last opened in 2017 for Trump's then Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin, who I trust as far as I can throw him, to view the gold, and before that, in 1974, to a congressional delegation for the group of journalists. Yeah, that journalist's name wasn't Nippinator. The Mint's website says no gold has gone in or out of Fort Knox for many years. Sure, tell it to the judge, except for the very small quantities used to test the gold's purity during the audits. But they claim there were no audits since 50 years. So which is more accurate? Trump's Treasury Secretary said last month that Fort Knox is audited every year. I call bullshit, and that the gold is present and accounted for. Now for our feature story of the day. Gold-backed stablecoins will outcompete U.S. dollar stablecoins, according to the high priest of Bitcoin, the one and only Max Keiser. He also recently tweeted, breaking news, the IMF has just recognized Bitcoin as de facto digital gold. Sources confirm the IMF is adding Bitcoin to their own reserves and will soon include Bitcoin in their SDR basket/index as well. This was off the back of the news shared here by Crypto India, breaking the IMF's new rule, BPM7, add Bitcoin and crypto to the global money tracking. And Max also tweeted here, the BRICS, principally Russia, China, and India, will counter any attempt by the U.S. to introduce a hegemonic U.S. dollar-backed stablecoin with a gold-backed stablecoin. Let me know if you think that is going to happen. The majority of the global market will favor a gold-backed coin since it's inflation-proof, unlike the U.S. dollar, and doesn't boost unwelcome U.S. hedge enemy. India already runs a de facto gold standard, and Sharia law in Muslim countries would dictate gold over a USD riba coin as well. To be clear, a Bitcoin-backed stablecoin is not fit for purposes due to the volatility. This was off the back of the news from Trump with the dollar-backed stablecoins. You'll help expand the dominance of the US dollar. It will be at the top, and that's where we want to keep it. Max also recently tweeted, Russia and China will buy the gold and add it to the gold-backed stablecoin reserves that will outcompete the U.S. dollar in the world markets. Russia and China are also stacking the biddy. The only loser is the USD. And this was off the back of the news by Vivek shared here. President Trump holding $700 billion in gold reserves, looking at Bitcoin below 90,000. Yes, that's right. Net neutral way to acquire the Bitcoin is to sell the gold reserves. Do you think that will happen? We've been discussing that all week here on the pod. He also recently shared, while Trump is shilling his shitcoin, Trump and bailing out scammers, Russia and China are adding massive quantities of gold to their reserves and readying a US dollar killer gold-backed stablecoin. Russia and China are also poised to be the biggest buyers of the US's pledge to sell their Fort Knox gold to further their aim of killing the US dollar. And that's right. Yesterday, the Trumpster was shilling his own meme coin, which has been getting wrecked since inception. He posted right here, "I love Trump. So cool. The greatest of them all." Pretty crazy, right? And one more tweet from Max, and then we'll dive deeper into the story. Bitcoin makes a new all-time high this month. Here's the latest prediction, which means surpassing 109.3, which is the current price discovery. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the high priest. And getting into this story, gold-backed stablecoins will outcompete the US dollar-pegged alternatives worldwide due to the gold inflation hedging properties and minimum volatility, according to the Bitcoin maxi, Max Keiser. Keiser argued that gold is more trusted than US dollar globally and said governments of foreign nations with an adversarial relationship to the US should not accept dollar-pegged stables. Here's what he said precisely. Russia, China, and Iran are not going to accept a US dollar stablecoin. I predict they will counter the US dollar stablecoin with a gold one. China and Russia have a combined 50,000 tons of gold, more than what is reported. The potential for the gold-backed stablecoins to outcompete the dollar-pegged tokens in international markets would upend plans to extend the US dollar dominance through the stablecoins proposed by the US lawmakers. That's what's up. Now, stablecoin issuer Tether launched the gold-backed stablecoin called Alloy, backed by Tether's XAUT, a token that provides a paper claim to the physical gold. This was back in June of last year. And according to Pointsville founder and former VanEck exec Gaber Gerbax, Tether gold is what the dollar used to be before 1971, I guess when they went off the gold standard, right? XAUT is up 15.7% year to date, while the broad crypto market is in the red. Foundations and businesses should hedge their holdings with XAUT, according to the executive. And as you can see here, it's been doing quite well alongside gold, which recently hit a $3,000 all-time high. Meanwhile, United States Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that the Trump admin would focus on using dollar-pegged stables to protect the dollar's reserve currency status and ensure the U.S. dollar hegemony in global financial markets. And speaking at the March 7th White House Crypto Summit, Bessent indicated that the stablecoin regime would be a top priority for the Trump administration. Federal Reserve Governor Christopher Waller, not to be confused with Christopher Wallace, rest in peace, Biggie, also voiced similar comments and expressed support for using the stablecoins to prop up the U.S. dollar before Bessent made the remarks at the Crypto Summit. Meanwhile, the U.S. lawmakers have also introduced several stablecoin bills to establish a comprehensive regulatory framework for tokenized fiat assets, including the Stable Act of 2025, as well as the Genius Stablecoin Bill. And if you don't know, now you know. Let me know your thoughts with that, as well as the IMF adopting the Bitcoin. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll read your comments out loud. Welcome, everyone, to the Q&A segment of the live stream. JV here, live and in the flesh. We're still live on X, Rumble, and YouTube. Over 1,800 of y'all tuned in right now across X, Rumble, and the Tube. BitGold did not work. Forget about the gold stable coin, says the Laser Cat. What everyone's end of the year biddy prediction? I am going with 200,000, says Ricky Norwood. JV's bear scenario, 222. My base case, 420 for the broskies. Bull scenario, 1.1 million. Max Keiser's bull scenario is 2.2 million. If you don't know, now you know. Let's strike the gong for that. Let's send Bitcoin parabolic where it belongs, broskies. Greg says, in other words, the gold price is more stable, less volatile than the biddy. That said, the Bitcoin inception 17 plus years ago is up 150 million%. Gold in the same period is up 220%. Choose wisely. That's right. Team Peter Schiff, Gold Bugs, you guys are up 220% in 17 years. Team Max Keiser, JV, Nippinator, Chandy, and the rest of the CNA fam, Bitcoin's up 150 million%. I'll accept that volatility any day of the week. Oracle, the problem is massive with gold, especially after the Fort Knox discussion.